Hey, this is John Mathis Jr. with Mansion Entertainment. Going to do another video today, and I cannot believe I have not done a video for this particular subject. It is a video about the top 2 goals that get mentioned to me from songwriters. So we're going to talk about that today. Let's go. Come on into the studio. Okay, we're going to talk about 2 goals that songwriters have mentioned to me on a consistent basis over the years. And I've started to say aspiring songwriters, but I don't want to cast songwriters in any particular light about their level. But the 2 things that songwriters mention to me the most is they would like to have a song recorded by an artist, or they would like to hear their song on the radio. Sometimes those 2 things are the same. But those are the 2 things most often mentioned to me, and that is a goal. And so that changes the nature of writing songs, actually. And when I say aspiring songwriter, if I use that, that means they're aspiring to a goal. Because I meet a lot of songwriters that just like to write songs, and they don't really necessarily pursue a goal with them, and so they can write about whatever they want. People sometimes will send me things and ask me what I think about it, and that's subjective. That is their expression, personal creation, personal expression of their emotions. However, when you attach a goal to something, that changes the approach, that changes the thought about it, that changes the outlook, your perception. All that has to change, and therefore the song has to change if you're trying to achieve a goal. Let me tell you right quickly, my background, I've written songs for 30 years in music publishing. It's always been my passion. In the late 90s, I thought, man, if I worked in the music industry, I could network better, I could have more connections, more relationships, my songs would get placed easier. And while that is true, it changed my thinking, where at one time I thought purely, as passionately about songs, just standalone. This is just a great song, because it was my baby, just like a lot of songwriters. But then working all these years in about every aspect of music, and managing a label for 7 or 8 years, and seeing just from start to finish, not just a song, but just the overall aspect of music and music going to market. Every aspect of music in a label has an end goal of being in the market and trying to get as many people to hear it as possible. So now you're looking at what appeals to demographics, and what demographics you're trying to reach, and what is current sounds that are acceptable to the ear, because all these things they make a difference to what people are used to seeing visually, what people are used to hearing audibly, and that's all impactful. So if you have a goal with writing songs, that's where you have to shift and spend more time trying to write for a market, for a goal. The term over the years has been market chasing. There's a lot of market chasing that happens in music, and you can look at it as that possibly feels like diminishing your creativity, limiting your passion and creativity, and possibly so. My co-writing friends sometimes I think they get a little chuckle out of me, especially if they're just more purely songwriters, because when you're co-writing, people are throwing out topics and ideas, I just pass on a lot of them, because I'm automatically thinking about, before we're even written a chorus, I'm already thinking about this hook or this idea. Will it work in an end goal, and trying to market it somewhere, even if it's just in social media? It has to resonate as a final product, not just a song, but the music production. And I even look up, I even Google themes sometimes to see how much people are looking for that particular topic, to see how universal it is. So those are the challenges that I'm always constantly thinking about before we get out of the writing room. What can be done with this? Because in my professional life, I've been a part of all of those journeys, and everything in there has to support the final goal of hoping what everyone is a part of creating is successful and can reach as many number of people as possible. So that requires looking at the type of lyric you're writing, the themes that you're writing about, or the universal things like that. Quick example, we'll wrap this up. A quick example is there was a big song in the 80s by the Judds called Grandpa, Tell Me About the Good Old Days. I don't write grandpa songs or grandma songs in this day and time. It's not that I didn't love my grandparents. It's just my belief is that in how society's progressed and how things are today, that is become a small niche. In the 80s, you're talking about people that, were born in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, maybe early 50s that were grandparents. Different day and time. A lot more rural upbringing, a lot more front porches, a lot more, aspects there. Hey, I graduated in 1987 and I'm a grandparent. So you know what my friends were doing in the good old days? They were listening to Journey or whatever popular pop music was on. They had their windows down. They would go to the nearest mall or town square and cruise around on Friday and Saturday night. And that was the good old days for some grandparents now. And actually some grandparents are raising their grandkids. So they are more in a father role or a mother role. So that's just one example about when you're looking for themes and things to write about, what is the biggest demographic of people experiencing, and then what are some of the structures of the music, and what are some of the familiarities that are happening right now in your end goal and your end target. A lot of things to consider there. This topic, man, I could do 10 videos about the world of songwriting, but that's just addressing two things today. If you have some goals like wanting an artist to record your song or radio, and there's a lot of other things you can do with songs. We may do a video and talk about that later, but hey, if you just want to sit at the house and write songs and for your enjoyment, sing them to your wife or your kids or your mom or your friends, that is totally okay. It doesn't mean your work is good or bad. That's your creativity. However, if you want to have a goal in regard to writing songs, you have to steer and conform and create what you're doing towards your goal. And wish you the best. Thanks for watching.